All right, fine. Now, I want to make some book recommendations, and these are just the books that I'm aware of that I've been dabbling in here. Conrad Black, who is a friend of mine for quite a while, has a new book. It's just out. Conrad thinks it's short. What are you laughing? It's 256 pages, and Conrad says, "Hey, it's a small book. It won't." 256 pages is small. Conrad Black is Canadian. He is a former media baron. He owned all the Jerusalem Post, the Canada Post, or the major newspaper in Canada at the time. He is a real world intellectual. By that, he's an intellectual will not be off-putting to people. He's fascinating. You sit there and you listen and you marvel, and sometimes you want to burst out laughing when you're not supposed to. Sometimes you just can't stop soaking it all in. There's nobody like Conrad Black. He wrote a book. I recommend the last Conrad book I recommended you was Flight of the Eagle. And it was about the strategic beginnings of this country during the days of the founding, and it focused a lot on George Washington in ways Washington is usually not written about. Now, Conrad Black has been writing columns pro-Trump at National Review for a year and a half now, but he was early all in on Trump, and I'm going to be interviewing Conrad for the next issue of the Limbaugh Letter. Yeah, and it'll be the week after I get back, or the next week, and I'm going to let you in on a question I'm going to ask him, because Conrad, I want to accurately explain. Conrad, if you knew him and if you heard him speak, you would think that Conrad is of the establishment, and you would think that Conrad Black would look at Donald Trump and would say, "Don't you ever darken my door. Do not ever come into my house. You are a reprobate." But it's the exact opposite. Conrad Black thinks that Donald Trump is going to be the most memorable and perhaps the greatest president in the history of the United States. He is unabashed in his support for Trump. He is fearless in his explanations of Trump. He has done business with Trump. He's been friends with Trump for years. He loves Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not offend him. And it's one of the many ways that Conrad Black, if you knew him, would surprise you. But he's totally all in. The title of his book is A President Like No Other. Donald J. Trump, a president like no other. And he does believe that Trump is already one of the greatest characters, one of the most delicious characters to follow in all of American history. The fact that he has become president is icing on the cake. He thinks nobody could do what Trump is doing. Ignore the ruling elite. Ignore its arrogance, come in and in a relative overnight period of time, totally begin the process of reorienting and fixing America against the greatest odds any president has faced since Washington. And as he says, it's not a long book. It's not heavy. It's only 256 pages. His biographies of Nixon and FDR are 800 pages, I know Conrad's Nixon biography is all-consuming, and it's sympathetic, it's supportive. Conrad Black, somebody you should seek him out anyway. Just find things that he's written and read them. And I guarantee your vocabulary will skyrocket, will not intimidate you. It's not like some writers use words purposely so that you won't know what they're talking about. Conrad wants you to know what he's saying.